Good afternoon, guys, and happy Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, it is so sticky and humid out. It's gross, honestly. Which, like, we had such a late summer. Like, well, summer started so late, so like it makes sense. Like, summer's kind of hanging around now, kind of like, you know, it's like almost the end of September now. And it's still pretty hot out. Like, it's, you know, I think this week is supposed to be kind of like 70s, and then it's actually supposed to get back up into the 80s again. So it's supposed to be like mid to high 70s, I think, for most of the week, and then I think by the weekend it's supposed to get back up into like the 80s. So yeah, guys, we have, like, you know, this nice weather, but it's like, it's almost October. I'm like, you know, and I know I'm gonna say that and then I'm gonna be like, oh, we just, like, something's gonna happen where it's gonna be like, oh, we completely skipped fall and went right into winter, and, you know, in October it's gonna start snowing. Like, I seriously, guys, I think I just jinxed myself too by saying that. But like, it seriously is what happened, like, this entire year. This year has been bonkers as far as weather goes. We had, you know, it didn't even get warm until like the first like 90-degree days we started getting were like consistently, I think we're like in July or whatever, because I remember the fence went up at like the end of June, and it was cold the day that the fence went up, actually, and it was like cold and rainy. And then I think finally after that was when it actually started to get warm, like that following week, which was like, I think a week or 2 weeks before like 4th of July. And so that's why it's like, you know, this weather has just been like so weird so far this year. And so that's why I know, like I said, I'm gonna say this and be like, you know, I'm almost kind of like wondering, when is fall gonna come? But I know I'm gonna say that, and then, like I said, it's just gonna skip fall and we're gonna go straight into winter, because that's all that's literally seemed like it has happened this year. Like, that's why I feel like it was weird, like, we didn't get like spring weather, like that kind of in between. Like, it was still snowing in like May or whatever it was, and then, you know, like, I felt like we didn't get that like nice like springtime, you know, kind of feel, because the weather was just so like crazy. Like, again, it was snowing, and then we get like 80-degree days or something like that, like a few just like randomly in May, and then it go back to like snowing again, and you were like, what happened? You know, I think there was like a week where it was like 70s or almost 80s or something like that in May, and then it like snowed again. And then that's again when we had that like weird, like, it was still chilly, but like it wasn't like that should have been summer weather by that point, like not like spring. And so that's why it's like where the placement of the seasons have not been correlating with the actual weather, which is, like I said, really weird. But yeah, it's really sticky and humid, and it's been raining all day today. So like I said, it's gonna be a little bit cooler this week, which will be kind of nice-ish, but the only problem is that like, I don't know if it's gonna be humid or not. So if it's at like 70s and it still feels like just like sticky, because that's how it was on the Friday night game, and I told you guys, like, it was nice out, like it was cool, and it wasn't like hot and it wasn't like cold. It was like the perfect temperature, but it was just really sticky and gross, and like humid out. So yeah, guys, I don't know what the weather is looking like for you know, the next few weeks as far as like what we're gonna be expecting as far as like fall. But that's, like I said, the weird thing is just like, you're expecting like, okay, kind of get into the season, you kind of like, you know, this is normally my time that I do like baking and cooking and stuff like that, and I'm like, it's so sticky and hot in the house, I don't want to turn the oven on, I don't want it to be hotter in here. And it's also that weird in between, like I was saying too, where like you don't know if you should turn the air conditioning on because it's still hot, but like it's more the humidity that feels like makes it feel gross. And so if the air conditioning's on, it makes it feel better and it's not as humid, and like it doesn't make it feel sticky in the house. But if it's not, then it's like feels all humid, and we have the windows open, but it's normally like nice and cool, but because the humidity is making it hot. And so it's just like this horrible like in between. Like, we went back and forth between turning the air conditioning on in the living room and then turning it back off, and then opening the windows and then closing them again, like over the last, literally between last night and today. It's just been this vicious cycle. So yeah, guys, but like I said, I normally, like, fall is my favorite time. Like, you know, it's bonfire nights. Like, who wants to go have a bonfire when the humidity is so insanely you know, just thick out there and nasty. Like, you know, I don't want to go sit outside in front of a bonfire, like even if it's a cooler day, but the humidity has been really bad like recently. And so yeah, like that, and like I like to bake, and you know, normally that's like kind of like, I don't know why, I feel like in the fall it's more like my nesting time, like, you know, like you get very like it's almost like hibernation, you're starting to get ready for winter. And so that's kind of how I always feel, and I've always taken that, like fall for some reason is like, it's like my reset button, and I feel like I just feel very like rejuvenated in the fall for some reason. And I felt like that at the end of when I was babysitting, because I was like, okay, now I have all this time to myself and I can like start doing things, and I feel like that still kind of, but I think the weather is throwing me off, and my body is like, whoa, it's like, whoa, it's still summer, like don't start hibernating yet. So it's, like I said, it's just really bizarre, and I feel like I'm thrown off by all of that. But yeah, I felt like that a little bit, but I haven't like felt enough like that. And that's why, like, normally this is the time when like I start to get things like more organized. Normally sometimes I get back into like doing my shopping, my freezer dinner making, you know, that kind of stuff. And that was one of the things too, guys, was that I really like, I want to kind of do like the couponing stuff again, do like the grocery shopping stuff, share on Instagram and everything like that. I want to get into that. And the only problem that I'm having, which is a really big problem right now, is football. And so once football's over in October, that's like normally the perfect time. But like last year it wasn't too bad, because I still started kind of doing like some shopping stuff. I think maybe at the end of October or something like that. It's when I started coming back and sharing stuff, and I started getting into that mindset of doing it. But that was because I didn't have to, like, you know, the football games were kind of like optional. Like it wasn't like, oh, like somebody's playing, and I'm like, my dad was just coaching, and so I just go to the games or whatever. But now he's coaching, Matthew's coaching, and Jack's playing, all in the high school all at the same time. It's like, okay, we, you know, like we're very centered around like what's going on as far as football scheduling and stuff like that. So like, you know, I might have not gone to some of the really far away games last year. I went to a few, but they were normally the ones that were closer to us. And so, you know, I went to all the home games though last year. But again, it's like that Friday nights, that one night, or, you know, last Friday we were out until 11 o'clock at night almost, because it took us another half hour to get home once the game ended late at 10:30. And, you know, like the other night too, I think the Friday, when, not last Friday, the other Friday before that, you know, it's still like 10 o'clock that sometimes I don't get home, and I like to do my grocery shopping on Saturday. That's the best time, I think, to do shopping. And especially now that the NFL football is on too, Sundays are normally like, I spend most of the day watching football, you know, and Saturdays are sometimes like, oh, if the college game's on, I'll catch it. I'm not so like, you know, like strict into watching, you know, college football as much as I like really want to watch NFL football, which I really wanted to see this Seattle Seahawks game today, which, guys, I'm so happy I did, because I had my quarterback Russell Wilson going today, and he went off for me. Originally I was supposed to lose to my dad this week, who I was playing my fantasy league, and Russell Wilson, like, almost single-handedly, him and Kenny Galladay, I think it was, went off too. They both had 40, I think one had 44 and the other had 46 or something like that. I think Russell Wilson had like 46 points. It's like crazy. So I'm now, I think, projected to win. I'm like 74% chance of winning, I think. I'm done with all my players. My dad still has Montgomery for the Bears going tomorrow, so I'm like, I want the Bears to do good, but I don't want him to get any points. So yeah, but anyways, guys, so I really want to watch that. You know, Sundays are normally like my football game days, and again, normally like Notre Dame is normally probably the biggest Saturday game that we'll watch as far as like college football goes. And then I'll kind of just catch like, oh, there's the NIU game on. If Matthew's home, we might make it into a bigger deal. Or, you know, if I think they're playing at NIU though next week, and we might end up going to the game. So there's that. Then also too, sometimes I'll catch like if the Alabama game's on, or if the Northwestern game is on, I'll watch that. Like I caught some of that yesterday. I can't remember what other game I was watching. Some other game, but it really wasn't a team that oh no, I was watching Wisconsin. Wisconsin-Michigan game, which was pretty good. So anyways, yeah. Saturdays are normally like, I'll catch the game if I can. If I don't, it's not that big of a deal. I'll just kind of like flip back and forth between the channels and see what's on. And normally there's like 500 college football games on, so like you can watch it anytime unless there's a team you're really wanting to watch. Like if I want to get a football fix in on Saturday, I can watch any team really. It's like always on. And like, you know, the NFL only, there's only 4 games normally I think on Sunday that I can watch. There's normally, no, maybe there's, yeah, I think there is only 4 or maybe 5. Normally there's 2 on 2 different channels for the noon game, and then the 3 o'clock game I think there's 1, and then the Sunday night football game. I don't know if there's 2 normally on for the 3 o'clock, that we get 2 different ones, but today the 3 o'clock one was the Seahawks game, so I watched that, and I caught a little bit like on and off again at the beginning of the football game this morning. But like I said, it's really hard because like we have, again, that football, Friday night football for the high school, and we'll stay for the varsity games, so sometimes again we might not be home until like 11 o'clock or later on away games. And most of our games are, I think the majority of our games are away. 5 of the 9 are away this year. And so, you know, it's just like, we might get back really late. I might end up staying up until 1+ o'clock in the morning, you know, some nights because of football. And that's why I can't get up super early sometimes on Saturdays, or, you know, I might just be really tired, or, you know, I might not have, or might not have gotten my list completely finished, because sometimes I'll finish it up on Friday nights, but if we've been at the game I can't finish it up, but you know, on Friday night or whatever, or you know, go over it. And my mindset is normally like, I'm just so tired, I'm like, I just need to go to sleep. And then when I wake up in the morning, like going to the grocery stores, like I normally prepare myself the night before to be like, okay, I gotta get up in the morning, like I should remember this, like, oh, you know. And like it's weird too, because sometimes I will like sit in bed right before I go to sleep and I can't turn my brain off sometimes. So I'll be like, oh, I should remember, check to see if we needed, you know, freezer bags, or I should check to see if we needed cream of mushroom soup for something, or like, oh, you know, I think we actually didn't have that, or you know, what do I want to make for freezer dinners this week, and like, oh, if I'm gonna make that, then I should remember to get, you know, hamburger buns or stuffing mix or whatever. Like, you know, there's all kinds of stuff always that like is running through my mind. So when I come back from football, normally my brain is still going from football, and it's not very easy for me to just be like, okay, stop, like, okay, that's enough, football's over, like go to bed, you know, and kind of adjust into thinking about like going to the grocery stores in the morning. For me, that's not an easy thing. And so that's why, like, normally even on Saturday, going on Sundays, then I'm just very out of whack, and like then it's the start to the week, and I like to get things done, ready, and prepared on Saturday, and then have Sunday as kind of my chill day, you know, on the weekends, because it's the start before we go back into the week, you know, starting the week all over again. And so I like to mentally prepare for that kind of stuff, like, okay, what things do I need to get done for this week? So that's normally like Sunday. And so throwing grocery shopping in, like a big grocery shopping haul, is like normally a lot of pain to have to get to. It's a pain to try and get to all the stores and, you know, do all that kind of stuff. And on top of that too, like my dad is kind of the same thing. Like normally he'll, you know, prep his breakfast or lunch or whatever he's doing for like his stuff on Sunday. You know, he'll do all of these things, and so going out and being gone for a few hours to go to the grocery stores to do the shopping is not always easy. But I want to try and get to something like in the, you know, maybe when football's over. But right now it's just like Friday nights are like horrible, because it normally winds up then throwing off my whole like sleep schedule for the rest of the week, because again, I'm kind of going to bed a little late tonight just because of not being, you know, being up so late on Friday nights. So that's why I'm just like, I want to, but at the same time I don't want to commit to something that I know that I'm probably not gonna have time for. And that's like my biggest problem, is that like I'm like, oh, I will, and then like I don't want to just like do it for like, or you know, like not put all of the effort in that I can, if that makes sense. And so you know, or sometimes being like, okay, I can't do it this week, you know, I'll just skip it and go into next week or whatever. And I'm not very good at that. If I like put myself into doing something, I want to keep on doing it at least until like something big happens where I like can't really keep doing it, or I start falling behind with things or whatever, and then be like, okay, now I need to check and, you know, realize what I need to actually get done. And so that's why I feel like that's one of those things that I'm like, I want to, I just can't, and like that's why it's tough. I don't know, guys, where I was going with this whole thing. It started off as like the weather, but ended up as football, which, like I said, it doesn't even feel like football season started for me because it's still so like warm out and we have this humidity, and it feels like summer, like football practices, like not actual football season, like, you know, has started. It feels September is weird. It's like not the right time of the year for it to be feeling like this. I feel like this is the weather we should have, like, we're backed up now because we didn't get this weather in, like, you know, what should have been last month, because we didn't get it all the way back in June that it should have started. So anyways, guys, I'll see you all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.